Today we're going to be talking about three of my biggest life lessons, and again, I want to direct it. This is life lessons, not business lessons. Like we do everything, we always have to, and you should do this with your content, start with a goal. So my goal for this is I want to reflect and offer a few insights on how we can improve our lives beyond our business. It is great to be super focused on your business, and if it is your creative little baby, then yes, like nurture it, take care of it, but it can't be your all-consuming life. There have to be other things. The first life lesson is over-communication. And I wasn't sure if this is a non-hyphenated word, but I'm going with this one. Over-communication. Now, this lesson came from my producer back in Baton Rouge. So this was my first job out of college, basically, or I guess my first full-time job. When I first got out of college, I was freelancing, I was shooting weddings, I was running my own little Valley Films company, and then I decided, it's time to go get a full-time job and check it out, see what it's like, get some real experience in kind of these bigger sets, bigger budgets. And I worked down in Baton Rouge at a video production house. It was Hollywood South. This was the peak of Hollywood South, where New Orleans and Baton Rouge were making more films than LA at the time. And I wanted a piece of that. I wanted to get in on the action. But my producer, his name is also Jordan as well, and we're great friends still to this day. And his one thing that he said to me when I was a wee little production assistant, little camera assistant, video editor assistant, he told me about over-communicate everything. And I've taken this lesson and adapted it a little bit further beyond what I think his original intention was. He was saying over-communicate in the context that when you're on set and you're going to do something, I need you to over-communicate things. I need you to feel like you're sharing too much or giving or telling people what your intentions or what you're going to do too much, because in the first rule of being on a film set is about safety, because there's a lot of expensive equipment, there's a lot of large equipment, heavy equipment, dangerous equipment, electrical equipment, there are a lot of things that can go wrong, trips, slips, falls, injuries, and we want to, if you're going to move something, that either is a safety issue, that is a creative issue, or it's a combination of the both. So, you're going to move a light, you want to tell people you're moving a light, or if you and a person are going to move a silk or a frame and move it into place, and it's going to be overhead, talent, you need to talk to people, hey, moving here, let's go. And then as I got more and more involved at the production company there, we were using walkie-talkies, and the bigger sets, you have to use walkie-talkies, so you're always telling people what you're going to do. And, he was talking about over-communicate, even like things like going to the bathroom. Like I say to this day, I say 10-1, 10-2, and if you don't know that, that's code word 10-1, just I gotta go pee, I gotta go do number one in the bathroom, and that's so that way, and it was weird to me when he first told me that, I have to tell you that I'm going to the bathroom. But what it requires, or the intention behind it, when you're sharing that kind of information, oversharing, it's coded words, so you're not saying I gotta go take a shit, but at least you are saying, if you need me and you cannot find me, I'm going to the bathroom. So because everyone's doing their own job, everyone's got their own little department that they're working in, and they may need you, or they may need to say, hey, where's Jordan? Hey, where's the PA? Where's the camera guy? We're about to shoot? Where's the cinematographer? Oh, okay, they went to the bathroom, or they went to go get this. Hey, I'm going to take a break. Hey, I'm going to go smoke. Hey, it's all over communication, because I need to know your intentions. I need to know what you're about to do. If you're about to move this light, if you're about to move the camera, if you're about to replace the camera, take the batteries off, turn off the light, strike the light. You had to communicate everything. So that's just kind of on a film set in the kind of physical sense and the safety sense of over communication. But how I would adapt over communication, this life lesson, is you need to over communicate this with your clients, with your family, your friends. Tell people more than what you think you should be telling them. The tendency to kind of keep things to yourself, or if you feel like the conversation is going south, or you have a confusion in the conversation with your client, say you're planning a project, or they're talking about budget or scope or vision, and you can tell that something is about to go wrong, or you foresee a train wreck ahead based on kind of how they're piecing together the project, and you don't communicate that, or you don't communicate hey, I think this might be we might have a problem here, or hey, you know what, that actually isn't going to work. Like if you didn't say that in the beginning, they might have well has just been going along, thinking everything's great, and then you communicate it too late, and then there's friction, or there's a budget change, or there's a project scope change, or a scope creep. So over communicate everything. Tell people how you feel. Tell people what you're thinking. Don't bottle it up inside. For me, I can be a closed person. Sometimes I can be a very like reserved, kind of in my head kind of person where, I don't have to communicate everything or tell you how I feel, but it really works great to over communicate sometimes. Like I'll even give you like a marriage lesson. Like if you feel something, or if you feel like, don't bottle it up. Like, my wife, she's like, I can't read you. I can't understand. Like, are you mad? Are you sad? Like I just sometimes have to say like, I'm mad, or like that made me upset, or I didn't like how this was. Like you have to communicate that stuff, because if you bottle it up and store it away, I feel like that just can like cause cancer or something, where it's just like you have to communicate it and say it, and be open about it, and feel like you're almost telling them too much. I'm not saying like be gross or like, but people, that's where people's minds go when you say like over communicate. But in a safety sense, in a business sense, on a film set, in a creative sense, in a relation sense, over communicate, and don't be afraid to share what's going on inside your head to others, because no one can read your mind. They have to, you have to tell them. Life lesson number 2. All right, I like this one. It starts with you. And this was one of the lessons that I still am trying to get familiar with. And this is what I'm also trying to train you on too. Like as I'm learning this, or as I'm mastering this, I'm trying to learn this and instill this in you. When it comes to who you are, how you run your life, you have to believe that you are capable of doing it. And I've been, I gotta say one thing. Is it weird? I always feel weird. This is an aside now. I always feel weird admitting that I listen to some kind of podcast, or I read some book, or I follow this person, like without the fear of looking douchey, or without the fear of like looking like just like a normal, like not normal, like a normie, just kind of like just bro type or something. Like I was listening. This feels weird to say. I was listening to the book, Think and Grow Rich, which seems very like, like business dude, like book, or like, that's saying like that's like me saying like my favorite person is Gary Vee. It's like, okay, all right, dude. But I was reading the book. I've heard a lot about it. I said, let me give it a shot. Let me listen to it, see what it's like. Because I heard that people listen to it multiple times, or they'll listen to a little bit every single day. And I was like, that's interesting. What's in this lesson? And one of the chapters they talk about in Think and Grow Rich is they talk about the power of, it's an old book. It's like from the 40s. So they have all these kind of weird words and weird phrases, and phrases that we don't use anymore, like auto-suggestion. And it was basically like semi-self-hypnosis that you have to believe, and you have to trick and manipulate your own subconscious into believing in something. But it was just this power that you have. It starts with you. It starts with your belief and your ability to accomplish something. And it was like, I have confidence, and I've always had confidence, and I have this, of course, but I have, this typical, creative feeling, self-conscious about my work. But there's also like, I thought to myself, like, I have a normal level of confidence, self-confidence, where I believe that I can do things, but I never have in my life like articulated that, or I've never like had to feel like I need to trick my mind into doing like, I will do this, or this is something that I can do, and I'm going to visualize it and like really focus my mind on trying to achieve this goal. And like that felt weird to me. So this is what I've like, it starts with belief. Whatever you want, anything you want to accomplish, any project that you want to do, any kind of business project that you want to do, start a new product, sell a new service, obtain a new audience, become a new live streamer like this, you have to believe like this is all possible, or the goal that you set in mind that you want to do, you can achieve it. Because if you don't believe that, then like they say in the book, you just start to tell yourself in the conscious out loud what I'm going to do, and the subconscious mind is just like feeding all of that, feeding off that kind of energy, or feeding off what you're saying or what you're feeding it. So if you are constantly filling your head with thoughts of, I can't do this, or I'm not really sure I can do this, or I didn't believe that I can do this, then it becomes, not to say it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, but the inner workings of your mind, your subconscious, it doesn't back you up. on what you're going to do or how you're going to follow those goals. We have to start questioning the things that we hold in as limiting beliefs. We have to the things that we think like, where is the ceiling of our beliefs that we think like this is possible, and then we have to start working on breaking that ceiling, working on going beyond that that limit. So that is one side of this kind of, it starts with you. You have to believe that you are one of the best. You have to believe in your capabilities, that you can do this, that you can achieve this. Now, let me talk about the other side of that, because this is like a part 2 of lesson 2. The flip side is this, and it's the kind of like never outshine the master. And what if I'm too good, or what if I feel like I'm better than all these other filmmakers? Like this, I'm coming in as a PA, or what if I'm like the best PA I could ever be, or like the best assistant I could ever be? And the idea was like, okay, yeah, you believe in your abilities, you believe you're good at it, but in the sense of if you're working with others, or if you have someone working above you as a manager or supervisor, and this comes from the 48 laws of power, never outshine the master, that you don't, like, even if you believe it, even if your confidence is soaring high, you never want to make the person above you look bad, or you never want to make your manager look bad, or make them look inept or incompetent compared to you, or create some kind of odd distance or dissonance between the two of you, that, yes, you have the belief that you can achieve it all, and that you one day are going to be running the store, but don't want to at the same time like step on the toes or step on the egos or the emotions of the people above you, because they can have control over you. So but if you're running your own shit, and if you're a freelancer, then disregard this advice. But if you have a full-time job and you have a boss, to kind of keep that in mind, that like if it starts with you, if it starts with your belief in your abilities, yes. But then like the flip side of like, you can go beyond like this, you can tip the scale to where you're getting like into narcissism, and when you're getting into I'm not just believing in myself, but now I'm full of myself, and I'm just overconfident in everything, and like Dunning-Kruger effect, where you are so far confident that it's becoming a little bit irritating, or like kind of a turnoff to the people you're working with. Number 3, it ends with you. So we had number 2, it starts with you. The last lesson number 3 is it ends with you. It's never a client problem, it's a you problem. And this is I think this is a great life lesson to take away, that it's like, this kind of has to do with a little bit of like responsibility and taking ownership of things. I think of it more in like go a little bit deeper, a little bit more of a basic core concept of the kind of, the locus of control. Like, how much control does the world control you in your life, or how much control do you have over your inner world? When I say it's a client, it's never a client problem, it's a you problem. If you feel like the client is mistreating you, or you feel like, I even have this slide here where they're not paying you enough, you're not feeling valued, it's okay. Maybe the client's a dick, maybe they are just, they don't treat the help or treat workers properly. Maybe they're insecure, and they're kind of projecting that insecurity on you and being a pain in the ass. Okay, but you can't control that. So, what can you control in this situation with your client and with who you work with on a daily basis? It's what you can control. So when I say it's never a client problem, I want to put all or as much responsibility on you to control the interactions that you have with your client, the situations that you find yourself in with your clients. If you feel that the people you work with don't value you, what have you done to not demonstrate that value, or what have you done or failed to articulate in terms of your value, how much you charge, what you're worth, how you price yourself? If you feel like they're not paying you enough, what did you do wrong, or what can you think back as to like, I failed to do this? Can't control the client and like yell at them and control them and say like, you have to pay me more and you need to value more. Like that is, you can't force people to feel a feeling or like do something. You have to. So what can I control in my world? How can I better articulate who I am? How can I better articulate my value? How do I find better clients who actually value? Maybe it's where I'm looking in the wrong place. Maybe I'm inviting the wrong clients, or that the marketing that I'm putting out is attracting the wrong types of clients and therefore putting me in these awkward or odd situations, or I haven't priced myself properly, or don't show enough confidence, or don't have enough belief in myself. So that, that's where kind of like these are the things that you can control and that you have control over. And that's where I would want to focus on. I wouldn't want to focus on like, well, the client sucks, or they don't know, or they just, they're being dumb, or they don't have a budget, they suck. It's like, okay, but you're working with them, or like you have to live, sleep in the bed that you've made, and take some responsibility. Try to, I'm not saying like control everything in your life, but you cannot look at the world in the world that you live in and say like, I don't have control over this, and who am I to? I feel like I'm being beaten up around all the time by my clients, or I don't get enough respect around here. It's like, okay, well, it starts with you. What can you do to start building that respect, or start articulating that value to the people that you want to show value to your clients, to your employer, whatever. Let's do the bonus lesson. This is bonus lesson, life lesson number 4. And I reached out to a good friend of mine, Chris G. I said, hey man, I'm doing this live stream tonight. And maybe this is another life lesson. Don't feel like you always have to have the answers. If you want to reach out to someone and find the answers, like that's the magical ability of having a nice network, having friends. Chris's lesson was, if I distill it down, it was follow through. So, and here's Chris. Go check out Chris. He's on. He told me to plug his LinkedIn, so you can go to just basically go to LinkedIn, go to the search bar, and type in Chris G Presents and find this handsome little man. It's his quote that he gave me was, "Your daily actions should make the outcome of success seem obvious." And when he told me that, I understood it. But at the same time, I was like, God, dude, you got to give me a little bit more than this, because I need to teach this online. I need to teach this to people, on the live stream. Give me a little bit more when you say your daily action should make the outcome of success seem obvious. And what he meant by that, and he kind of expanded more, and he gave me a great answer. It starts with belief. Like we said in lesson 2, it starts with belief. It starts with like you have the ability to do something, but there has to be follow through. There has to be some type of action that goes with the things that you are projecting in your mind and auto suggesting that you can do and what you can do. There has to be a follow through. There has to be some kind of lesson. Like his core complaint was like too many people are posting these kind of inspirational quotes and like getting really hyped up and like really, we talked about this a couple last week in the create 6 pillars of running a successful business. That motivation is part of running your business, but it's very temporary. And to like just get jacked up on motivation and kind of get addicted to motivation, there's nothing behind it. Like there's no next step. So when and he gave me the kind of like, you have to visualize and then you have to act. And he gave me the example of, he was telling me about Russell Wilson, the quarterback. I think he's on the Seattle Seahawks. And he talked about, working with a sports psychologist and visualizing him playing a great game on the field and then actually follow through and having a great game on the field. And I thought that was great. You have to follow through. You can watch the videos, you can learn the tutorials, you can follow the lessons, take notes, highlight in your book, and put the little sticky notes everywhere like I do, but you have to actually then apply the stuff. It doesn't matter. I've read tons of books, and some of the stuff is in there is just still in the book. It manifests itself into the world through my actions. So you have to follow through, visualize what you want to do. And I think this is what he meant by, so this kind of makes more sense when he says like your daily actions should make the outcome of success seem obvious. Like when you see someone who has a 6-pack or they're really jacked and ripped, you're like, and they tell you that they work out every day, it's like, well, yeah, that's obvious. So when you see someone running a successful business, it's, you don't attribute it to luck, you attribute it to hard work. Follow your motivation, put out motivational things, but then follow through and actually act upon those motivational things that you're trying to push for and the beliefs that you have instilled in yourself and that you're trying to instill in others. Thanks, Chris G, for that. Thank you. Go to Chris G Presents on LinkedIn. find his little profile picture, give him a follow, send him a message, tell him that Jordan Anderson told you to say hello, and give him a follow on LinkedIn. He's making some great videos lately. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 p.m. has seemed to be a pretty consistent and attainable goal that we're now 3 weeks in, almost 4 weeks in. I usually like to post the theme of the video or like the link to the stream the day before, or usually the morning of, or something like that. But if it comes up in your subscription feed, hit the bell, set a reminder. And if you're watching this right now and the first time maybe this is the first video you've ever watched me, or the first live stream you're watching, do all the fun stuff that YouTube has to offer. Subscribe, like, and leave a comment after you're watching this. And yeah, my name is Jordan Anderson. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.